Mike Bohn here, joined by Paige VanZant Austin Vanderford, and a very special guest. Who do we have here, guys?
This is Dennis Vanderford.
How old is Dennis?
He's 10.
Wow, old head. That's crazy. Do you have multiple dogs, or is that the only one?
That's the only one so far. If it was up to her, we'd have like 5 or 6.
That's very true. I like rescuing dogs, so he's my little rescue baby.
That's awesome. And how are you guys just holding up in general? Obviously, you follow you guys on social media. You seem to be making as good of this quarantine as anyone I've seen out there.
Yeah, we're doing good.
We've been doing pretty good. We're almost, we're pretty much 100% back to like full-time training. The nice thing with us is because we can train together, nothing really changed for us other than not eating out very much.
Yeah. Other than
that, you guys
nice.
have it all going on there too, right? Like you got the gym at home. I saw you have a sauna and like all these different things. You barely even need to leave the house.
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky. We got the sauna put in. We got some Dollar mats going in here this week, so we can do all of our MMA and wrestling. And then we had a good friend install a bag rack for us, so it got us proactive to really get our home gym situated. So we almost never have to leave our house.
Yeah.
That's great. We can tell you guys are getting comfortable there. You're surprisingly overdressed today, I must say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about being naked, but we thought, we put clothes on.
It's a family show here.
Exactly, yeah. Really only because we just are coming from the gym. We had to have clothes on, so yeah.
Fair play. Well, I do want to start with you, Austin. I mean, I know it's not being MMA, but you've competed during this pandemic. You did the Submission Underground. I think you have another match coming up too, right?
Yeah, I have another one next Sunday. So I've just been trying to stay active and do what I can to stay ready and be ready for, Bellator to make the call. And I want to be, one of the very first people ready to fight and ready to go.
For sure. And before we get into the Bellator stuff, I mean, these submission matches, why did you feel the need to take them? I mean, obviously you're thriving there too. It was a great performance the last time, but what's that been like, and why did you feel the need to kind of continue competing with those opportunities?
Yeah, I just love to compete, and I love I love the nervous feeling and the adrenaline you get from competing and just stepping into the cage or on the mat or whatever. And I'm also I'm trying to grow my game and get as good as I can. And I feel like this is a good opportunity to, so far I've been competing against some of the very best guys. And so it's a good opportunity for me to feel like what some of the best grapplers in the world feel like, and, give me that experience. So when I go into a fight, I'll have that in my back pocket as well.
Yeah, and it seems like when Bellator does come back, it's going to be, on a studio lot for CBS or something in California, and there's going to be no crowd, anything like that. This must be good preparation for that.
Yeah, for sure. It's really good preparation. But for me, I'm used to competing with no crowd, in wrestling and being on the Contender Series, and for me, competing's competing, whether you got a few thousand people or whatever, 20 people. So I tap into that mindset, and I've got one goal in mind, and so for me it's pretty easy. It's not too crazy of a change.
Okay, and what have you been hearing from Bellator? I mean, I spoke to Scott Coker a few weeks ago, and he basically said that July is the ideal timeline, maybe late June, but probably likely July. Is that along the lines of what you're hearing, or have you got any sort of updates?
Yeah, no, I think I've kind of based everything off of the interview that you did with him and listening to what you guys talked about. So, like I said, I'm just staying ready and I'll be ready to go. I could fight on a week's notice right now. So I'm, sparring twice a week. I'm doing all normal training and probably even then some. So I'll be ready to go when they give the green light.
Yeah, anyone you're wanting to fight in particular? I know this kind of pandemic really changes the whole situation with international fighters, stuff like that. I assume it slims down the opponent list of potential guys. So have you even looked into that yet? Or are you just so ready to fight anyone at this point and make a paycheck and those kind of things that it won't even matter?
Yeah, kind of more along that line. You know, I actually was supposed to be fighting last weekend. I signed the contract to be fighting in London against an opponent, and I don't really know if I can disclose like any of that. But so I already had an opponent and an opponent in mind. But you know, with everything shifting and changing, I don't really know like if the opponent would stay the same, if it changes, and I think it's even hard to tell. You know, from a month to now to 2 months from now, you know, what that outlook will be like. So I'm just ready. I'm itching to fight, and anything I can do, any person I can fight to, you know, make my name bigger and build my way up and get closer to fighting for a title is what I want.
Absolutely. And how about you, Paige? Obviously, you know, you've been recovering from the arm injury and everything. How are you feeling right now?
I actually feel great. I mean, it felt really good. This, you know, as far as the whole quarantine for me, it kind of worked out in my favor because I got cleared to start training almost like the day that everything got locked down. So it kind of forced me to like take it easy and ease into it. We don't have regular sparring. We don't have all the regular classes. So everything's very specific and it's, you know, specific training for me. So I'm finally at that point where I am going 100% in practice and I'm still being very careful to not hurt my arm again. But I'm feeling awesome and it's kind of an exciting time. I feel like I'm really at that point where I'm specifically focusing on what I need, and it's really nice.
Yeah, and I think I saw another entry you did where you said you're looking to do this final fight on your contract, and then you might have to get something done with the arm again. Was that accurate?
So that is, it's kind of accurate. I mean, so I have a plate in my arm, and the only reason that I broke my arm in a fight. It took 2 surgeries to fix it, and then since then I've broken my arm twice. And the only reason I've broken it the 2 times prior is um because I have a plate in my arm. So each screw, I have like 6 or 7 screw holes, and then the end of each plate is a weak point. So I did something like so silly. I did like a big step and elbow, and I broke through a screw hole. So ideally, I would like to fight and then get the plate taken out, and then I can continue on my career and not have to worry about these like freak accidents, breaking through screw holes or breaking through the end of a plate. But of course, I take it one day at a time. I could get through this fight, get a big win, and want to ride that high and not want to have another surgery and not have to go through the healing process again. So I'm taking it day by day. I think ultimately to have my arm be 100% and to have like, you know, take that risk factor back down to 0%, I would have to get the plate taken out. But it's not necessary. It's not like I have to have surgery.
Gotcha. I know this has been like a long ordeal with you dealing with this. Is there any point along the way where you just feel like, screw this isn't worth it? I know how positive you are and you're still young and everything, but we know you're able to do things outside of fighting as well. So is there any point just like, man, this is not worth the stress and all that goes into it?
You know, he would know more than anybody, but it has been kind of like a day by day situation. Some days I think when I re-broke it the 3rd time, I was like, that's it. We're getting pregnant. We're having kids. Like, you're taking over. Yeah. And then he had to talk me off the ledge because, you know, I am only 26. I still have a really long career ahead of me, and I haven't even reached my peak yet. So, we just turned 26. So I'm like a young 26. So, you know, he kind of was like, no, you're really good. You got to keep training. So I went through the whole healing process again, and no, I've never once thought about quitting forever, like ever. Even if we were to, like, in my wildest dreams have kids, I would still want to continue fighting. I plan on fighting for at least 5 to 7 more years.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, the UFC is still looking for its first mom champ. I know Michelle Watterson wants that. It's never too late.
It's gonna be Amanda Nunes. Her and
True. Her and Nina.
Are having a baby.
True. No, that's a very good point. So yeah, that's for sure. But as far as you, I mean, do you know when you want to get back in there? I saw you post something earlier today, kind of teasing Fight Island a little bit. Is that on the table, perhaps?
It's a really good tease, and I'm really excited. Yeah, I would love to fight soon. So I'm just kind of waiting for the final step, and then we can announce fun stuff. So yeah, I'm very excited to fight again.
Awesome. Do you know which division you'll be back at? Because I know it's kind of been back and forth between 115 and 125 of late.
It'll be 125. Yeah, I have the hard thing is I am such an in-betweener. It's the cut to 115 is really, really hard. But 125 is kind of easy. So it's like I'm in that in between area. But ultimately, for me to be my very most athletic, I think 125 is the best option for me. I was more in a position telling the UFC I want the most exciting fight possible, and I don't care what weight class it's at. I want the most exciting one, and ultimately, it's narrowed down to 125.
Okay, interesting. Because I was going to ask if you were still interested in that Amanda Ribas fight, but she's obviously a 115er, and I know she called you out after she won that fight against Amanda. But maybe the cards won't align there. Is your plan though still to fight out this last fight on your deal and then test the waters in free agency?
Yeah, that is still my plan. I think I'm really happy with where I'm at right now with the UFC. Ultimately, my goal is to show my value, and I think that it can, the fans you can be easily forgotten in this sport, and I think that it's hard for people to recognize. I went on a 3-fight win streak. I was main event in the UFC. I have only 2 of my fights have ever gone to a decision. Other than that, out of my 5 wins, I have 4 finishes. So I'm a really exciting fighter, but I haven't been able to show off because I keep getting hurt. So that's my plan here, is to show how good I am. I'm coming off of my win against Rachel Ostovich. I got that awesome armbar my last fight. I want to come back, have 2 wins, and then just really show my value. And I think I want people to recognize me a little bit more.
Yeah, do you think you're going to surprise people a little bit? Because you mentioned, your age, you're still young, you're still training despite these injuries and stuff. Like, this is the prime time for a fighter's career where their, day over day development, fight over fight development is really seen the most. So do you feel like the fighter who's going to be in there next time is going to be vastly different than the one we saw last time against Rachel?
Oh, 100%. I feel like with every fight, the awesome thing is it's going to be really hard to study me. It's going to be really hard to prepare for me because I am still developing. I'm still so young. My game plan isn't set in stone. Yeah, I'm a veteran of the UFC, which is weird to say because I've been in the UFC for 6 years, pretty much my entire career. But at the same time, I'm 26 years old. I'm going to keep evolving and keep training and keep growing. And I think that's the most amazing thing I've been able to see these past few years is how I'm evolving and how much better my striking is getting and how I keep developing in my jiu-jitsu, and I'm making those strides with our head coach Fabiano is just a jiu-jitsu legend. So it's like, wow, I thought I used to think I was good at jiu-jitsu, and now I'm getting really good. So it's really exciting to see how far I'm coming.
Is that what you've seen within Paige in the training room, Austin?
Yeah, for sure. I think, alluding back to what she said, still, somewhat kind of finding her fight identity and learning and all that. And then also just being with a team. I think the team that we're on right here and the one she's with, is a family, and everyone really cares about her. I know our head coach Fabiano really cares, and, our Muay Thai coach and whatnot. And so just kind of taking her and really putting in all their energy into making her better, and whether that's physically, mentally, all of that. There's so many aspects to the fight game that we tend to overlook and all that. And I think a strong support in a coach who really believes in you and teammates who really believe in you can go a long ways. And I think she's got that right now. And yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited for her. And I've said before, it feels better for her to win than it does for myself. So, I'm excited for some news to get out here soon, and excited to see her get back in the cage.
That's awesome. And I guess this is kind of for both of you, since you do corner each other in the fights. Like, when you go back, there's going to be no crowds. We're going to be in this unique environment, and you'll be able to, imagine, hear each other a lot more clearly from the corners and do those kind of things. Is that kind of exciting? That I know there's positives and negatives to everything that's going on right now, but that seems the communication could be even more enhanced between the two of you on fight night.
Yeah, I've already been thinking about, all right, I got to think about these things. I'm already coaching and game planning and what we're going to talk about, what I'm going to say in the corner. And this is a kind of a unique opportunity too, to come up with different strategies. I know people have talked about a little bit, but especially with no crowd and everyone being able to hear everyone, you kind of got to come up with codes and stuff like that. And so it's exciting. It's fun. It gives a new kind of aspect into the fight. It's cool.
That's awesome. And before I let you guys go, Austin, for anyone who may not know like details about your Submission Underground match coming up, can you just fill them in, opponent, where they can watch, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, so the match will be next Sunday, May 31st, I believe, and it's against Gabriel Checo, who's another really high-level black belt. It's on UFC Fight Pass, and yeah, you know, it's cool. It's Chael Sonnen's promotion, and he's doing a really cool, good job. He's getting some of the absolute best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world. There's the card stack. There's a lot of really good guys. So
and you slowly take them all out.
And I'm working on it. So yeah, so tune in next Sunday. I don't really know the time, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 9 Eastern, something like that. So people will definitely tune in for that
You're
one.
the man. Good job, buddy. Happy birthday, too. I'm not letting you get away with that. Yeah.
There, yeah, I appreciate it. Well, if you guys want to sing for me, I will happily take it.
Yeah. We get naked. We don't sing.
All right, fair enough. Well, you gave me the interview, so that's a good enough gift. I really appreciate you guys taking a few to talk to me today and bringing the special guest, too. It means a lot.
Thanks.
Awesome, buddy. Yeah, good to see you, Mike. Hope you're doing good.
Thanks. Hope to do this again in person soon enough.
For sure. Yeah.
All right, take care. Have a good day, guys.
Bye.